Welcome to Hyde v. Ranch case. This isn't your typical tale of love and betrayal, folks. This is a classic case of he offered, he countered. So, let's grab a popcorn because things are about to get legally complicated. So here's the tea. Mr. Ranch, the defendant, owns a farm. And he decided to sell it to Mr. Hyde, the plaintiff, for £1,200. But unfortunately, Mr. Hyde declines the offer. Following that, on June 6, Mr. Ranch sent a letter to Mr. Hyde proposing a new and final offer to sell the farm for £1,000. However, Hyde in response says, "What if I pay £950 instead?"
Huh?
Eventually,
Blah blah blah. Mr. Ranch, the defendant, refuses the £950 offer of his farm. But then, Mr. Hyde later agrees to buy the farm for the previously offered £1,000. Due to his statement earlier, Mr. Ranch still refuses to sell the farm despite Mr. Hyde's agreement to the £1,000 offer. Mr. Hyde was not happy because the plaintiff thought that the defendant breached the contract. So, what are the issues? First, whether there was a valid contract between the parties. Second, if a counteroffer is made during discussion, does the original offer remain valid and open?
a few moments later,
The judge, as wise as ever, clarifies a counteroffer effectively nullifies the original offer. Once a counteroffer is made, the initial offer is no longer valid. In this case, the plaintiff's counteroffer of £950 effectively rejected the defendant's initial offer of £1,000. So the judge rules against the plaintiff, concluding that the defendant has no obligation to stick to his original offer after the plaintiff's counteroffer.
To sum up, for an acceptance to be legally binding, it is a well-established legal principle that it must be absolute and unconditional. When the terms and conditions of the original offer are changed, the original offer is no longer valid. In simple terms, if the defendant makes an offer to the plaintiff has the option to accept or negotiate. When the plaintiff accepts the offer without negotiating, the parties have reached an agreement that is legally enforceable. However, if the plaintiff attempts to modify the terms, such as negotiating the price or other aspects, this is treated as a counteroffer. A counteroffer cancels the original offer, which means the plaintiff cannot go back later and accept the initial terms. Once the original offer is terminated, the defendant is no longer obligated to fulfill it. For your extra information, we should know the elements of a valid offer. First, clearly stated terms. Second, the intention to do business. Third, communication of that intentional.
Next, what are the elements of acceptance? Just remember NUC. N stand for mirror image. U stand for unconditional. C stand for communicated. What does that mean? I will explain it here. For N, the acceptance must be a mirror image of the offer, meaning it must correspond exactly to the terms of the offer without any modification, addition, or condition. For U, the acceptance must be free of any additional condition or dependency. It should be clear and straightforward, yes or no, to the offer. For C, the acceptance must be clearly communicated to the offer. It cannot remain undisclosed or keep a secret.
So how does a contract form under the French Civil Code? Firstly, Article 1113 of the Civil Code. In French law, a contract is formed by the meeting of an offer and an acceptance, by which the parties express their willingness to commit. This may result from an unequivocal statement or behavior of its author. Next, Article 1114, the offer made to a specific or indeterminate person includes the essential elements of the contract envisaged and expresses the intention of its author to be bound in the event of acceptance. Otherwise, there is only an invitation to enter into negotiation. Furthermore, Article 1115, it can be freely withdrawn as long as it has not reached its addressee. Moreover, Article 1118, acceptance is the expression of the intention of its author to be bound by the terms of the offer. As long as the acceptance has not reached the offer, it may be freely withdrawn, provided that the withdrawal reaches the offer before acceptance. Acceptance that is not in accordance with the offer is ineffective unless it constitutes a new offer. Lastly, Article 1121, the contract is concluded as soon as acceptance reaches the offerer. It is deemed to be so at the place where the acceptance has been received. Now, how are pre-contractual negotiations handled in different legal systems? Let's explore the key differences between the UK, a common law country, and France, a civil law country. In the UK legal system, actions or negotiation before a contract is finalized are generally not legally binding. This means that even if one party causes an issue, such as providing misleading information or withdrawing from negotiations, they are not typically held liable unless a formal agreement or contract has been established. The principle is rooted in the idea that liability only arises when there is a binding contract. In contrast, under French law, parties are obligated to act in good faith during pre-contractual negotiations. If a party causes harm during the negotiation phase, such as providing false information or unreasonable withdrawal, can lead to liability under tort law, responsabilité délictuelle. This means that the civil law emphasizes on fairness and accountability even before a contract is concluded. In conclusion, the verdict in Hyde v. French remains a foundational precedent in contract law. It establishes that a counteroffer cancels the original offer, as reaffirmed in other cases like UP Rajkiya Nirman Nigam Limited versus Indoor Private Limited and DS Construction Limited versus Rights Limited. This case is one of the most important in the field of contracts and carries notable historical significance.